I am resident of Colorado for YouTube. Joel Sains. That is my buddy Patrick McCray. That is my buddy
Oh,
Alan Gallant. We are here to review Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, directed by George Lucas, written by George Lucas, produced by Rick McCallum, starring Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, oh my God.
as the beaver.
Yes, the
Cinematographer,
beaver.
cinematographer
Somebody's
is
beaver.
David Tattersall. Music by John Williams. Distributed, 20th Century Fox.
Yep.
Release dates May 16th, 1999, Los Angeles. May 19th, 1999, United States. Budget 1,113.8 million. Box office $1,470 billion. Guys, when did you first see The Phantom Menace, Alan?
Um, uh, it, I, as I was telling you before, I don't recall seeing it first run, so I don't think I did. I think I probably saw it several years later on cable. I'm thinking
Cool.
that's exactly what would have had to have happened for me to see it. I wasn't really into it, and I was probably also somewhat influenced by other people's opinions of it before, even watching it. Which I don't necessarily always am, but sometimes I can be. So it was probably a couple of years later. It was cable. It would have had to have been cable because streaming services weren't really doing it
Yeah.
in 2002. So
No, they weren't. Patrick, when did you first see this?
Oh, May 16th, 1999.
I take it I'm the only one excited to review this. So I
no,
saw
it's
this at
fine. I mean, I've a few things I like, but
I
that's
saw this
okay.
at the drive-through. I was super
At the
excited.
drive-through? What was
Drive-through.
Arby's?
It was
No,
like
no,
it was like
the
it was
drive-in.
playing
Sorry,
on a
drive-in.
monitor at the
Drive-in.
I was
drive-through.
about
Sorry,
to say
drive-in.
drive-through. Arby's is
Drive-in.
about the only place with one so slow.
Drive-in.
You could watch
Uh,
the whole movie.
Went to the Brownsville Drive-In Theater. Saw this bad boy. It was awesome. So I really what did you guys not like and like about it, Patrick? I'll go.
Because he pulls out a scroll.
Yeah,
Um, you really liked this.
I love this movie.
You love
I love this movie.
you love this movie.
I
I
would have
love it.
thought Jar Jar Binks would turn your yogurt bad, at least for part of the
No,
movie.
because
You
well,
use the word love.
before you go, when you say Jar Jar Binks, I look at Jar Jar Binks as when you think about Star Wars, C-3PO was a silly character long before Jar Jar was. I
Yeah, but
mean,
Jar Jar is a step and fetch it character. He is a racial stereotype.
Of many.
But I mean, he's the foremost because he's the comedic sidekick.
think about
That's the thing that makes him off for me. Not the necessarily the overall where he is in the picture.
I always viewed Jar Jar as Ernest P. Worrell's long lost outer space cousin.
Well, yeah, I can see that aspect of it. I mean, that's generous, but
Jim Varney's funny.
yeah, it's like I
think,
said, it's generous.
let's make a very, very, very clear distinction there. Jim Varney's funny. So you want to talk about Jar Jar versus C-3PO? Is that
No, I'm just saying.
Is that where you want to
No.
stick your fist
No.
into this rock with the rock monster in it, like in Flash Gordon? You want to stick your fist in that? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
This is so much better than Ebert and Sisko.
When you think about characters who are a bit silly or a bit goofy, I always found C-3PO very goofy and silly when I was because I watched Star Wars when I was a kid.
It's true.
Yes.
And then when you see this, they do double down on this character's silliness, but he's supposed to be a goof up, and he is.
Unfortunately they wrote him in an uncomfortable stereotype, so it for a lot of people, myself included, that kind of dampens any comedic effect he might have. That's all. I'm not saying that you're disallowed from it, because you're not. But and I think that's true of a lot of people. It was a matter of fact, it was discussed a lot at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad I was asked my opinion. Okay, for one thing, all opinions are not worthy of respect. All opinions are worthy of the right to be voiced.
Correct.
But the respect comes and to the degree with which we are able to offer evidence. And now some things I thought it was funny. I didn't. Well, that's impossible to legislate. So, we're gonna leave that out. And if something appeals to what Ayn Rand called your sense of life, just your innate sensibility that you have when you look at the events of the world, and if it appeals to that, whatever that's based in, absolutely cannot be taken away and or disqualified. And there nevertheless are times when you have to be able to say, as a critic, this is a bad movie, but I like it anyway. It just appeals to me. I can't explain it.
Right. And you've even mentioned a few examples of those for yourself. So
yeah. I try to be very honest about that. This is a horrible, horrible, horrible film, and it is a wasteful, meaningless collection of shit that is so inexcusable given the powers that the filmmaker had at his disposal.
Yes.
A filmmaker who had relied on other writers to take his vision and really, really, really make it wonderful.
Yeah.
Because let's put it this way, some of the high points of the original trilogy had nothing to do with Lucas's pen.
No, it has to do with his concept and his vision, but not his pen.
Nor his editorial tastes.
Right.
If you go back and look at what Marshall Lucas did for New Hope.
I think Lucas was going back in time to when he wrote the novel, which came out before the movie, and I think he maybe thought that he could screenplay that the ideas that he had in a way that was going to work.
This was his first draft.
Yeah.
And it was made by someone who thought his first draft was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It needed nothing.
Well, that's also the power construct, because Lucas was the most powerful personage associated with this.
Yeah.
So maybe editing was not something other people wanted to attempt.
I'm not even talking about the Marshall Lucas editing thing now. I'm going forward to Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Now, sure, let's talk about Jar Jar. And C-3PO. This is what makes C-3PO funny. Humor relies on disparity. It relies on two things that do not belong together being jammed together, and you get a reversal of expectation, and you get a vision of some truth that the characters themselves don't have because they're too close to it.
Or it's a sudden realization, or denial of it after the realization.
Yeah, and I talk about the denial of reality a lot with Dark Shadow.
Yeah.
Okay, so C-3PO, this is why he's funny. He's funny because he is not a goof. He is not incompetent. If you let him exist in the jobs for which he was designed. And we almost never see, in fact, we never see C-3PO given the opportunity to simply be a protocol droid.
No, he's both the droids are have in their midst stumbling blocks in human form.
Sure. At least R2-D2 we get to see do astromech type stuff.
Mm-hmm. But he also comments on what a bunch of BS this situation.
He does. C-3PO we never get to see be basically a Vorta from DS9, which is what he is. He's a Vorta. And
Yes.
we never get to see him negotiate. We never get to see him outwit in a rhetorical sense. We never get to see him do any of that because he is put in situations he is not designed to be in.
Right.
He is aware of it. And so not only can we laugh at C3PO, but we kind of laugh with him because we've all been in situations where we want to say, I'm actually very good at something. It's just not this thing
Right.
that I'm here.
Right.
And that's what makes him funny. Jar Jar is just an incompetent and obnoxious uh, ass with no self-perception that the Gungans seem to just want to kill for obvious.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the funniest point is his own people want to see him like
Yeah.
smushed.
Yeah, he has no redeeming moment of anything. There is not a moment where everyone's being too hard on Anakin, and Jar Jar comes out and says, I know what it's like to be different, or something like that. Where we just go, oh,
Yeah,
well,
there's another dimension, in other
he's our
words.
guy. Yeah,
Right.
all of those qualities you can flip around and see as that's all part of his virtue. We never get that.
No.
And so he just exists to be he is a baby Ruth in the pool who is not a baby.
It's not a baby Ruth.
He's precisely the turd that you think.
And the
And
punch bowl.
yeah,
Right over there.
so and what is amazing, Joel, for me, is that this movie, and I don't think it's just based on the fact that it follows three good movies. I don't. I don't think it's contextual. There is something
That doesn't help its cause, though.
No, it doesn't. There is something so utterly banal and yet self-important.
I'm wondering if also one of
Desiccated.
the stumbling blocks that's in its way is the fact that there was a new wave of special effects, and they were playing with every possible corner of it.
They did a lot. They did a lot, but yeah, we were talking about the action sequences, and here's the deal. I'm gonna say something crazy here, but no, really, I think the weakest moments in the Star Wars movies potentially are the action scenes. Not because, and I'm not saying they're weak.
It's just that they don't necessarily further the story except by their outcome alone.
Well, yeah, sort of. What I was going to say is that the live action moments, the dialogic moments, the choices the characters have to make, and the introduction to those characters,
that's the rich part.
Is so marvelous, is so well done that sure we have to have these special effects sequences, but that's not the sauce. That's the sauce for this goose. And here it's all sauce and no goose.
Right. And interestingly enough, the first movie, the real first movie, A New Hope, as it's called now, it had both. It had the scenes that furthered the human and droid interest and the good versus evil and all of that, and it had the action scenes.
Well, because every moment of action in that movie affects some character we have come to love. That it all is an extension of their fate.
Yeah, full integration.
And there's nothing random about one action moment in that. It has to happen. You look at the trench run. Everything that happens in the trench run has to happen. And this is passionless. It's so beautiful it becomes ugly because nothing's being done with it. It just sits there. It's like one of the models in Looker, It is just it's so self-important and it's so effing boring.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be either. I mean, there's concepts in there that could have been easily set to flight.
Sure. But as Mike Stoklasa points out, Red Letter Media, where's a main character we can really root behind, root for? And there are reasons why all of the characters ain't main characters.
Yeah.
There's not one who's really an underdog who's aware of what's going, because Anakin doesn't count because he's not really aware of what's going on.
No, he's just a kid.
Yeah, he's not aware, and he's unlike Haley Joel Osment in Sixth Sense.
He's more of an inciting object than an inciting event or character.
Yes, yeah. The kid in Sixth Sense, at least pretty much, except for the big twist, knows what's happening. He knows what's going on, and he
does
know that he's a ghost. That's just not a part of the story we got to. So, Alan, I know you're itching to say something. Jewel, I'm eager to hear what you say, because you may very well have insights that completely flip this movie around, and I am open to them. And they are yours. Mm-hmm. They are legitimate. You don't do things at random. And so, and you were, 10 years younger than me when you saw this. And
there is a difference. There is a generational difference there.
That counts, I think, big way.
That definitely is part of my prejudice too with the first three movies. It's not the only thing that welds my opinion, but it certainly has an effect. So
Jewel, thank you for letting me soapbox. Thank you for letting me soapbox on that.
Well, here's what I'll say about this movie that I love so much: that the character you root for most is Princess Amidala. And you do root for Jake Lloyd's character, Anakin. Even though you know what Anakin's fate is eventually going to be, you don't know how exactly it got there. And what this movie does, even before you sort of get into the whole introduction of Anakin, because he isn't introduced right away, which is smart.
45 minutes.
Right. No, I applaud that, because it made the audience be patient of, okay, when is he going to be introduced? And when he gets introduced, it's like, okay, I could see it. Because what's the things you hear about Anakin? He was a good pilot. When you're introduced to people who can drive a race car, most of them are really great mechanics. Anakin was a great mechanic. So it made sense that he was a great mechanic and a great pilot, which I love. I also love the fact that the things you hear about the Jedi, Qui-Gon says to Anakin, how do you know I didn't kill a Jedi and took his lightsaber? Which lets you know Qui-Gon is a very different type of Jedi than the others. And I'm not just meaning appearance-wise. I mean in the sense of, okay, that suggestion there, I read a lot into that. But with this, I love the introduction of Darth Maul. I actually prefer Darth Maul over Darth Vader. Really stealth, ninja, assassin.
You like the action aspect of him too, and I took note of that. He's much more physically active than
he is.
But that's part and parcel to the spectacle of the movie, I think.
He's sneaky too. He sneaks around, which I like. I like that aspect of him. And you guys say about that it doesn't sort of further it sort of does. When you watch Qui-Gon's funeral at the end, when they're burning the body, notice the funeral, how the two people that Palpatine has to go through are two women, and they're sitting right between Palpatine and Anakin. That is telling you what Palpatine has to do. I like that. And you hear Jedi, you hear Yoda say, There are only what, two Sith Lords, no more, no less. And the biggest letdown I would say of these movies is you don't, all three is, especially the second one, you don't see the death of Darth Plagueis. You only hear about Darth Plagueis, and that's in the third movie. That's something you should have seen. That's my only nitpick of these movies, really. And as far as Jar Jar as a character, he's very he does help. He his own clumsiness causes the destruction of the droids on the planet. And so everybody, every kind has their own outcast. So here's Jar Jar. He's an outcast of his own kind. And why shouldn't he be? So I like Anakin's mother a lot. Very sympathetic figure. She gets killed in part 2 because it jumps years later. which are again you'll see Hayden Christensen take over the teenage role as
Sure. Yeah.
but okay, you guys go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm glad I don't own a mule because you have pulled at so many straws. There's no way I would ever be able to feed it.
I
Uh,
feed my mule oats. You can have
yeah,
a straw.
oh wow. Oh well, no, Alan, I get you. Well, I mean, if you want to nitpick, for one thing, there are three Sith Lords at this point.
You know what?
There's
That's why
Count
Jin
Dooku.
should have stayed alive, because he shouldn't have been killed in this movie. I don't think. I think
Where's your Darth Maul?
Right.
For an interesting guy, he kind of wanders on the screen, gets cut in half.
Yeah, and that's
like
the
a
end of
bad
it.
magician's assistant, and then
And he kills the guy that probably ought to be an ally, because there was in any of these movies, there's either a pair or a trio of heroes, and we don't get that. We don't get the team.
no, there's no team. There's
Yeah.
That you found Darth Maul to be more interesting than Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because he's sneakier.
He's not only sneakier, he's very stealthy, which I like, and the fact that I do agree with you on the aspect. Should he have been killed in this movie? No, I do feel he should have been the continuing villain in Attack of the Clones, simply because I feel he's more of a threat than. Again, the first film sets up something very continuous that goes on in all three films. The politics. So they unseat a senator, I think, senator ambassador in this. They vote no confidence for him, Terrence Stamp's character, and in the second movie,
it's political manipulation.
Right, you have the introduction. Yeah, Palpatine is pulling strings, and in the second film, you have the introduction of Count Dooku, who's also a bit of a politician.
Dooku,
in a sense. So you get Christopher Lee. You don't get the ninja stealth ninja back. Which, does that make sense? Yes, because how are you making him a politician? You're not. You could still have him as sort of a hitman, the way he is in this movie, a stealthy hitman, but you're not having him as a political figure in the next movie either.
No, what he is another thing that makes the first movies interesting. Is for every there's the dark force is a mirror image of the Jedi Knight. There's a master and an acolyte. In this movie, we end with no acolyte, only the ambition of one. And a child who is not going to become an acolyte for years. Mm-hmm. So you don't have that sort of tension or balance.
The tension you have is in the Jedi Council of making him a Jedi.
Well, that's the political end of it. Yeah.
Right. I said this to my buddy Mark Gilman when we talked about this way back when, and we're going to talk about this too when he comes on, hopefully next coming weekend, is that with this, it's even if Anakin did not turn to the dark side, there was probably a Jedi civil war coming, because there's a lot that you can kind of feel the tension in the room among them.
Yeah, because you've got a republic that's shattering, and it's going to become an empire. At this point. So, but again, that's still sort of on the political plane at this point. Whereas the relational good versus evil stuff is what I'm talking about in terms of balance. It's off balance right now.
Yeah. These things that you're talking about aren't in the movie, or they're in the movie so either subtly or so pallidly that they have no ability to grip and hold and excite the audience at all. This is the biggest bunch of dull, uninteresting, bland, short-sighted, hypocritical dullards who can't even be interesting about it. I mean, shit. These people don't even have punctuation at the end of their sentences, much less an exclamation point. Nothing. I mean, it's like watching Ambien. God forbid they show some passion, and you got this kid. Now wait, Luke was like 18, and he was just the right age, but somehow this kid with a midichlorian count through the roof, who these wise Jedi Knights should be able to see something about. Go, whoa, I think we should just let him be a loose cannon out there. What the blue hell is that about? And you can say it's about their hypocrisy or whatever. No,
Well,
good screenplay. Hang on, with your indulgence, a good screenplay points it out.
yes, it does.
A good screenplay makes
it does it
something
in a
of it.
creative way. That's one of the problems with this, is that it never. That's another one of the problems with this script, is it never sticks to one line.
It doesn't. And let me tell you something else. The politics in this movie, who the fuck cares?
Well, I find them interesting, but I mean, they're not. I don't think they should be the main dish. That's why I talk about the balance of the.
You did a one-man show about Chekhov. Your ability to find things interesting is broad and admirable.
Well, Chekhov wasn't really a politician, but that's
no, he wasn't. He wasn't a very interesting playwright. Don't tell me. Whoa, I'm not done. So have a political issue that's interesting. I've seen the Manchurian Candidate. You can't pull this on me. I've seen JFK. You know what? Watching how easily people get dissuaded from voting again for Jimmy Carter, which is essentially the story of Valorum.
Well, you love ideology, not politics.
You know what? I love a story, something I can hang on to.
Right, exactly, because ideology creates a relief.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
It creates drama.
About something. And this movie doesn't have the guts to be about anything.
That's what we just said. Yes.
Give me something to hang on to. So, for instance, Sheev Palpatine is one hell of a showman. And like Donald Trump, he's able to get people to go against their common sense. Great. There's your story. And you tie it into the Force and all this other stuff. Fine, but just give me something. Give me a really interesting hook to hang on to with this political story.
Yeah, a through line with dynamics.
What are politics but thought into action?
Mm-hmm.
And either there's very little thought, or it's not a very interesting one.
Right. Well, the way to make politics interesting in film is to also make it like an espionage movie. Where there's tension building, something happening, something like the point that you're making is, in this particular case, there isn't much happening here.
Here's the thing. I didn't come into this movie to dislike it.
No.
And I didn't come into this movie with unrealistic expectations. I came into this movie to see an okay movie. I don't like Revenge of the Sith because I think it's a bad film and it makes no goddamn sense. But there are things in Attack of the Clones that I could go, that's kind of a moment of mystery I want to follow. Okay. So, I mean, I'm not galvanized against this stuff.
Right.
I really am not. I'm not some, George Lucas raped my childhood fanboy. I'm a guy.
A lot of people are like that with this series, though.
And this movie is like the Widow Loman with a big budget. Yes, attention must be paid. And I'm going to sit next to her as she has a electric bullhorn and screams it into my ear for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
I felt like I'd been slowly poisoned. And there is still, Jewel, I don't know what it is, but I think in the 4 years I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever screamed. I don't think I've ever bellowed into the camera. And I just did, and I'm embarrassed. So I don't know what it is about this film that has the magic. Because I thought, Patrick, it's been years. You're going to be mellow about this. You're not Red Letter Media anymore. You're Shadow Sablewood. Come on. And then look at me. I'm just a ranting nut. And shame on me.
No, it's all right to have a strong opinion, I think. It's also okay to respect other people's opinion, whether it's as strong as yours. But,
of course.
And I think you do. It's just that you needed to get it out. So you got it out. And that's fair. And like I say, a lot of your points I agree with. A few things I see potential in, but unfortunately, that potential wasn't realized as much as I would have liked to have seen it. I like the concept of betrayal. I like the concept of skullduggery that presages the destruction of the Federation and the Republic, and gives rise to the Empire, because that's what it is. That's the whole thing, is just a bunch of people telling lies to each other. So that could have been done much more artfully, and I think you've stated that as well. If you're going to go that way altogether, and don't worry about the rest of it. And I think you're right. I think the secret sauce to Star Wars is all the relational developmental stuff. That's going to be the best that you're going to get.
I would say that, think about it this way. When Anakin is recruited, okay, by Qui-Gon, and he takes him before the Jedi Council, Palpatine has nothing to do with that. The Council, you can see, they're not happy with this kid. Basically, they're not happy with Qui-Gon in a nutshell.
They probably watched the movie.
Right, I know. So you have tension between the Jedi, and the Sith aren't really responsible for that tension. The Jedi themselves are responsible for that tension. So that's what I mean by, you. Even without Anakin's turn, you could have had a civil war brewing between the Jedi. And even when you get the introduction of Count Dooku is kind of hinting at that, in a sense, that, hey, there's tension there. So,
well, yeah, I mean, obviously, when things crack and die, internal fissures are one of the reasons why, and then the opportunist comes in and blows those up.
Yeah, and I love, to me, this movie has one of my favorite lightsaber battles. You have Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan going against Darth Maul. Great sequence. Love the action. Love the pod race. This is pod racing. Great sequence. But I'm a sucker for desert stuff too. So there's that. I did love how Natalie Portman steals this, where she kneels down in front of Jar Jar's people. Help us, please help us. Great scene. Emotional connection for the audience. You really root for her. So I give this movie a 12. What do you guys give it?
12.
Yeah, I give it a 5. I'm not satisfied with this movie, unfortunately. I thought it could go a lot more, but I'm not going to rain on your parade, dude, because if you really liked it, you should really like it.
I abstain.
Okay.
I abstain on the grounds of mental instability. As
temporary,
as induced by this movie. I just strongly urge you to oh God. Anytime someone's a critic, there is that moment when they so desperately want a film to be a certain way that maybe that's what they see, or they so love the opportunity to be a contrarian and just seep into that role, that they will say sometimes truly outrageous things. And I'm not saying you're doing that,
No.
but
or that you are.
I'm not. No. I don't think I've said anything outrageous. I think I've said things that are reflective of what is
of your outrage
here. Well, and what is my outrage based on?
Right.
Lousy movie that nevertheless seems to demand. I think it's the fact that this movie demands that I take it so seriously, and it's the beginning of this great 9-part epic, and
not so much.
Yeah, that it galls me And I have no emotional connection with someone who gets on down on their knees and begs for something unless the stakes are really bloody high.
Right.
And although, yeah, I guess it's planetary or whatever, I I don't even remember the moment you're talking.
But in order for the stakes to be high for a moviegoer, the moviegoer has to be committed and attached.
Yeah, yeah. That Darth Vader was marvelous dialogue, had a lot of things going on, and has choices that he has to make, and so on. Should be subordinated to a guy with one line. A guy with one line. At last, we'll have our really, really, Jewel.
Yes.
You know what that says about the
I
original Star
really like the
Wars?
character.
What character? What does he do that constitutes being a character? What choices does he make? What conflicts does he navigate? There are none.
Yeah, he's not given a chance. He's not given a chance to do that, which is one of the reasons why he shouldn't have been killed off.
He's a great piece of production design.
Right.
He's like Boba Fett. He's
Yeah.
a great piece of production design, but he doesn't choose anything. We don't get behind him or feel bad for a choice that he makes or even wonder. There's no mystery. Oh, there's presence on this battle station I haven't felt in a very long time. And you know what? He deserves it, and the audience deserves it. There is the movie that we want to see, and then there's the movie that is, and it just falls short for me every single time, and sometimes it doesn't even get close. Because this really leads to a very important philosophical question. He is, for you, a character you prefer to Darth Vader. Okay. In that case, we have to ask, honestly, what is a character? What is a character? And what qualities make a character for you or for anyone truly compelling? And because that's a very, very bold statement to make, and that's okay. But this is the sort of thing where a bold statement requires bold evidence. And I ask that you just privately, not now, but make a Franklin T chart of all of the interesting aspects and all the interesting things done by. And what's an interesting thing done? It's a choice. The interesting choices made by Darth Vader and the choices made by Darth Maul, where he could do something else, and put them together. And if I'm very interested to see, because I want to see what I'm missing. Because it's not just like, oh, I like strawberry, I like chocolate kind of thing. It's these are the reasons why this is a more interesting thing. It's why I can tell you why a Crystal is not as good a burger as a White Castle. And there are actual reasons in terms of its construction and so on and so forth as a piece of food that it is. So it's not just a matter of, well, I like this, I like that. And I really, I'm not trying to be God only knows what Gordon be saying about me right now. I'm sure that, his head would be on fire.
Let's not go there now.
No, but because I'm doing the things that I was criticized as doing.
Right, sure.
And I'm saying that with humility.
But you're anticipating criticism now, and I don't think either one of us are giving.
No, we're not.
No, you're not. But I am giving someone who had criticism of me a moment of sensible, credit. And I'm just saying, God, I hope I'm not being a blowhard, just running off the mouth.
No, I think you've just got you have a passionate revulsion for this movie, and you giving reasons why, and so that's okay.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that. It's better than saying, "F you, this movie sucks," and that's all there is to it. You're not doing that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would I would say what makes Darth Maul interesting is I've always found him more of a Sith, more loyal to the Sith than necessarily Vader ended up being,
Do you
just
like
in one
filling in the
film.
mystery of
And
Darth Maul? Maybe is the mystery have something to do with that? Does that
it's
attract
the
you?
mystery, and it's the fact. If you think about it this way, when you look at it from Palpatine's standpoint, is Palpatine has never followed the rule of two ever, because technically Darth Maul is still alive in Phantom Menace,
Okay.
and yet he has an apprentice. So there's three, not two, and then you get to
Now you're not counting both parts of Darth Maul at the end of
Yes,
the movie
as
no,
as
no,
one
no,
a
no,
as
no,
separate
one.
no.
film.
I'm simply saying in this movie there are three Sith, a Sith Lord in Darth Plagueis, a Sith. He is a Sith Lord to me in this movie in Palpatine, even though
Right,
he
right.
hasn't got the
I see
official
what you're saying,
title.
but you
And
don't. The only ones you see are the two
right,
guys.
are two, but there is three, though you only see two. Darth Plagueis is technically killed, I think, off screen in the next movie, Attack of the Clones. Darth Maul is already he's not officially dead because if you've seen Solo, you know, but that's a whole nother movie for a whole
He
nother
was not
discussion.
But
Darth.
But
he's dead to character
right,
development
he's dead to
at this
character,
point.
right? But what I find interesting about him is, okay, he's loyal to Palpatine to the core. I always got the sense of he knew he knew what Palpatine was up to the whole time. I
Sure.
get that sense of he knew that Palpatine was going to betray Darth Plagueis, and that's why whatever he taught. Again, I love the mystery of the character too. Like you're saying, there's a mystery to him.
I have a couple of just questions. Why are we leaving out? We're talking about all these Sith running around. What about Darth Tyrannus?
Darth Tyrannus.
Dooku Kachu.
Oh,
Dooku.
Dooku. He's the
Dooku.
next movie. It's the next
Yeah, I
movie.
know, but he's
Yes.
a. If we're going to talk about Darth Plagueis, who's not in the movie,
Right. You can't
not in
talk
any of
about
the
him.
movies. We're talking about Darth Tyrannus, who is.
Darth.
So yeah, there's yet another Sith
Yeah.
in this. Yeah,
Yeah. In
yeah.
the universe, right?
Maybe you feel that way about Christopher Lee. I happen to like him. But yeah, so I'm just giving an example. Yeah, there's
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
one out there. Yeah. Oh boy. What's by the way? So there are mysteries in the film worth talking about. It's like we can spend all day going, "Oh, I like it, I don't, I like it, I don't," and it's like that's not particularly interesting. Um, I think it's more
But from the
interesting
point of view of a viewer, not a critic.
from the point of view of a viewer.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Compared to who is Anakin's father?
That guy.
Well, according to his mother,
He doesn't
Like
have one.
doesn't
God
have one.
is again.
So he's Christ. Gone bad.
Yes,
He will eventually.
sure. Yeah, but I mean, so no, but
I
seriously,
mean, according to his mother.
going to his mother. Yeah,
According to his mom.
yeah. So who's his father? Have you thought about this?
Doesn't have one.
I think it's a rather important point in the movie that they kind of skip over.
Mm-hmm.
So who's his father? And I'm not saying that in a ridiculous sense. I'm curious. That's a big point.
It is, but he doesn't have one according to his mother.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't. Oh, she doesn't remember any conception.
No, she doesn't want to remember any conception.
This
Apparently,
to me is kind of an important part of the narrative.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is, and I think again, this movie in some cases suffers from projection into the next film, itis, or the next film after that, itis, or we're just going to drop that point, itis, because they are. I mean, this was projected to be 3-film arc.
Well, Lucas has
And that's what I mean. Each film should be self-contained.
Yeah,
And we've seen this problem before, with certain movies where they were in a series, and so stuff got kind of dropped until the next movie or whatever. And so that's just another facet and of the endless facets.
Well, Lucas has always said that Anakin was always the chosen one. So technically, he was never meant to. His father was never meant to be real because he didn't have a father. He was the chosen one.
Right. But apparently he was really the chosen one of the Sith.
But he ends up coming back to the dark.
There
At
are
the very end, after
there
he's done God knows
concept,
what. But
concepts in this that the characters take so seriously, but they are never adequately explained to the audience, as if not explaining them to the audience makes them more magical or something. It doesn't. It just makes them a plot hole. What is the balance of the force? What does that mean? And the fact that we all have to sit here and speculate is a problem. Is it that we need to have a certain amount of Sith, or that we need a little Christmas, or that it's because balance to me suggests two different poles that are one is prevented from being the only one, and so that must mean that there's something good in Sith philosophy. Well, that's an interesting thought. Uh, but a chosen one who's just all powerful with midichlorians. I mean, getting your midichlorians. The midichlorians going through the roof. That's not balance. That's something else. Or is Luke the balance because he kills Darth Vader?
well, at this point, Anakin is not even part of any balance. He's nothing but wriggling potential.
Yeah, but the concept of balance.
Yeah, but the concept of balance, I mean, among the characters that are actually acting upon what's going on, whether he's the golden cup or whatever, that's a different thing.
Now, I want to ask you guys. I think I might know the answer for Alan. I don't think I know the answer for Jewel. What are some of your favorite bits of essentially expanded universe canon that makes this an interesting sort of saga?
Like I say, I have problems with it. I like some of the characters. I like Qui-Gon a lot. And
No. When I say expanded universe, I mean stuff that's not in the movies, but it's considered canon because of
I don't even go there.
I know I know that's not a thing for you, but Jewel might.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Well, Darth Plagueis, because the story of Plagueis himself, he is, though you don't see him, he is technically around. He's still alive before Revenge of the Sith.
Who is he?
Huh?
Who is he?
Is he the head Sith that Palpatine has to usurp? Is that what the whole
dynamic is? He's the guy who backs Palpatine politically. But Palpatine appreciated what he learned from Plagueis, but he never called him master. He did not care for him. And in fact, Palpatine himself, he wanted Vader to eventually overthrow him because that's what the Sith lifestyle is. Yeah, that's what they do. When you say about, but to get to your thing about balance real quick, I know I'm jumping, I apologize. For me, balance is always there in a sense, because when you're watching a Sith, okay, well, a Sith can easily move away from the dark side of the Force because we've seen them be betrayed by their own, not just their own kind, but the way they're betrayed, the way they're sort of, the knife is stuck in them without the ascent of Emperor or head Sith. That there sends them to not necessarily the light side, but away from the dark. Or when you look at a Jedi, anger, rage, lies, betrayal, all lead to the dark side. So you have balance in a sense.
Sure.
One doesn't exist without the other, is what I'm trying to say. But expanded universe, I said Darth Plagueis.
You don't have to help.
I would say that I do wish we got more of a hint of who is it? Oh, Christopher Lee's character in this movie, because we get a lot of
Yes.
that's something I feel that we do miss in this movie, but we are going to get him in the next movie. Um, so
Again, I think
something,
that's that whole thing
but
we're
something,
relying
but
on
for but
the
for
entire
expanded,
movie arc.
but for expanded universe, the the Jedi Council. Okay, there's more to the again. There's more to the Jedi than what's being said, because I do think people have killed Jedi and picked up the lightsaber and say, "Okay, I become a Jedi." Look, anybody can pick. Look, Han Solo picked up a lightsaber in Empire Strike Back. Anybody can pick one of those up.
It's not
Will
Thor's thing.
so
Thor's hand.
You can also cut your arm.
right.
own
It's
arm
not.
off.
Julie just pointed this
How
out.
to
It's
use
not
it.
Thor's hammer.
No, it's not. It in and of itself does not have magical or supernatural powers.
Right. You can
That has
wield
to
one.
flow through the person
That has to flow
using
through
it.
you. Yes. So there is. I do think there's that aspect of it, and really, when you watch the one with the one series with the kids with Jude Law, where they think he's a Jedi. It's really good, and he's not. He's not a Jedi. I won't spoil it, but you watch it. It's pretty good.
Oh, they did make that. What was that? Was that Star Wars Floby or what was it?
I forget what it's called, but it's really
Star Wars
I think you could,
Lunchbox or what was it? Star Wars
Star Wars: The Trash Compactor.
Acolytes. Maybe was it High? Was it the Acolyte? I don't know. Yeah, I forgot that he made that. I like Mandalorian.
yeah.
Love Mandalorian. So yeah, I got a piece of expanded universe I really like. I think it's really cool, and it's not even beta can it's alpha, but it's just we don't see it in the prime things. It has to do with Darth Vader's uniform. Do you know about this? It's
Skeleton Crew is what
really
it's called.
fascinating. Jewel, do you know about this? But Darth Vader's outfit,
No, but it's called Skeleton Crew.
skeleton.
The thing with Jude Law. Yeah.
It's all crap. It's purposefully like 5 generations behind in technology, so that he's constantly having to
Use the Force
and use the Force and fight it, which constantly lets him know that he was a failure, and just wears on his self-esteem all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have technology, as we've seen with Luke in terms of prosthesis and everything else, to really take care of him. He doesn't have to live like this.
Right.
But it's Sheev Palpatine who insists on keeping him in this state to humble him just a little bit, like the fabrics and all of that itch horribly all the time. To the point,
I always thought that Palpatine keeping him alive was more about cruelty and sadism than it was about keeping him alive.
Oh yeah. And to me, psychologically, just that choice is so interesting. That's the kind of stuff in the Star Wars universe that really gets my attention and makes me, want to see more. Did you guys read Shadows of the Empire?
No.
Remember when that came out? Julie, you remember when this came out?
No, I know it was always made into a game.
Yeah, there were toys, there were games, there was like audio adventures. I kind of wonder where that came from and where it went. So I read the book. Book was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a Han Solo like character that Leia finds and does stuff with in the time that Han is frozen. It's like a Han Soloette.
Cool.
So, well, this has been one of the most revealing talks I think we've ever had. I'm thrilled you're both speaking with me. At this,
it's not an issue at all.
It's not.
It really isn't.
It really gets my hackles up. I was
Well,
expecting.
there are certain movies that will do that to me too. It's like they're just so they just outrage me for whatever reason, and they don't necessarily outrage everybody. But
Alan, you said
and,
that about
and you
Police
can come up
Academy.
with reasons
You
too. I
said that
mean,
about Police
legitimate.
Academy too.
What's
I
that?
remember you said that about Police Academy too when we had that 3 hour discussion.
No, that's not that couldn't that's impossible. Uh, because of the tall blonde, no, that's
Leslie Easterbrook. Let's call her by her proper name.
that's right. She's hilarious in more ways than one.
So what are we talking about? Attack of the Clones.
Tomorrow, if you're available.
Let's do it.
The steam will still be coming off our heads.
Yeah. Attack of the Clones I like a little more. My
Yeah.
co-writer David Rains put it best, where he said, "Well, he's got the driest sense of humor on the planet." And he said, "Well, it's still cancer, but at least now I get to pick where it is in my
Now
body."
you can cure it.
No, he said now I get to pick where it is in my body.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Which
And-
could make it more or less curable. So.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My God. I'm president of college.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't even remember at this point.
I don't even know who the
President Moss Eisley.
That has been Patrick McCray. That's been Alan Gallant. Link to the Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Deeper Cut Bow is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel. Collins Sport After Dark will be in the description box. We'll be back tomorrow night for Attack of the Clones. You guys have a good night.
Oh wait, hold on. Whoa,
What?
Joel, wait.
What?
And you know what would have made Attack of the Clones better?
What?
If when young Boba Fett, when his father's decapitated, and he picks up the helmet, if his father's head had fallen out of the helmet,
And then he puts the helmet.
well, I don't know, just the head falls out. He's kind of looking down at it.
It's like
if you like that, go watch Predator Badlands. It's a pretty good movie.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I watched it without you.
I apologize, too. But you can watch it. It's really good. You'll like it. But yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Attack of the Clones.
Thank you,
Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh.